So, I made church this morning. iMovie ate it. So it was about 30 minutes long. I thought I did a good job. I told Kathleen about it after I realized, after I was resigned to the fact that it was lost. I told Kathleen about it. She said, "Was it any good?" Well, I thought it was good while I was making it, but it's obviously no good now. And how do I know it's no good? Because it doesn't exist. Only things that exist can be good or bad. Everything else is an evaluation about the imaginary, the subjunctive, the non existent. So, church this morning might have been good, but guess what? It's non existent, and therefore it's no damn good. No damn good at all. I am obliged to make a replacement, and every time I've had to do this in the past, I make a much shorter replacement, so you may consider this your gift this Sunday, that I lost the homily that I would have shown you, and instead I'll show you this one instead. So I'm just going to take one little piece of what I talked about this morning and let the rest go. There was yet another completely useless rent-seeking academic study this week, published in Nature, the journal Nature, arguing that male brains are programmed to prefer sex over food. The implication being that male human beings, meaning guys like me, would starve themselves in order to get more sex. You dig a little deeper into the study, and what do we find out? Are they talking about male Homo sapiens? Are they talking about male human beings? No. Are they talking about male mammals, male dogs, male bears, male whales? They love to talk about whales and dolphins. Are they talking about male dolphins? No, not talking about male dolphins. Male reptiles, male lizards, male snakes? No. Male birds? No. Talking about male insects, amazingly enough, not even male insects. They're not talking about single cell organisms, thank goodness, which is often what they talk about when they attempt to make specious analogies about types of organisms. But no, they're talking about nematodes, which are teeny tiny little worms. Scientists love nematodes because they're small, they're easy to store, easy to replace, easy to keep fed, easy to clean up after, and functionally useless for any other purpose. If it weren't for rent-seeking academic science, I can't imagine what nematodes would do to get free sugar handouts. But in any case, the scientists want to claim that male nematodes would prefer sex to food, and that therefore this ascribes a characteristic of all male brains. Well, even this is completely specious because, of course, there's no way to ask a male nematode whether he'd prefer food to sex, and there's absolutely no way, apparently, to construct an experiment to find out. What they used were proxies for sex and proxies for food in order to ascertain what male nematodes will do when rent-seeking academic scientists are attempting to fool them with specious, bogus experiments involving absolutely nothing, measuring absolutely nothing, measuring nothing useless. I promise you these guys all cash their paychecks every 2 weeks, and someday soon they will retire comfortably on the taxpayers, having discerned and disclosed nothing useful about the universe. But they did manage to collect money for this specious, bogus, useless study about the mating habits of the male nematode. This is the dancing bear fallacy. And I've written an enormous length about the dancing bear fallacy. I linked this week, when this study was published, I linked to a post that I had written about the dancing bear fallacy involving a clip from the interview that I did in Orlando in 2013. So there's a minute and 51 seconds of me on the dancing bear fallacy. I managed to take care of it and get lost in 2 digressions in a minute and 51 seconds. It's the most economical philosophical movie you'll ever see me in. But in addition to that video, at the time that I wrote the post, I wrote additional text. It's just a few paragraphs, but it is devastating. It is devastating to the dancing bear fallacy argument in its entirety. It completely decimates that argument. And I might go to the trouble of reiterating that argument with you here, but seeing as how I've written about this at enormous length over the years, and with incredible concision and precision in the last 3.5 years, and met with zero response whatever, not any accolades and congratulations for having chopped through the Gordian knot that determinist science has brought to us by demonstrating that there is a bright line distinction between human, rational, conceptual, informed discretion, between free will and the trained behavior of mammals. And that's what this study is all about, is training nematodes to do what the scientists predict they'll do so that they can make tallies of all the times that the nematodes do what they've been trained to do, and therefore insist that training nematodes prove something about males in general, male human beings in particular, but it doesn't even prove anything about male nematodes except that they can be trained. Duh, big surprise. Organisms can be trained. But I happen to think of a wonderful dirty joke that I first learned from Robert A. Heinlein that completely puts the lie to this study as regards male human beings. So I will, in lieu of a 30-minute homily earlier this morning, I will tell you a very brief dirty joke that has a number of important philosophical messages. So, Dad is coming home from the war. He's been away for 3 years. No injuries, thank goodness. He's coming home hale and hearty, but he's been a long time gone, and he's ready to be home, and Mom is ready to have him home. Mom and Junior go to the airport to pick him up. As soon as they see him, he comes rushing toward Mom and picks her up and swings her around and whispers in her ear just loudly enough for Junior to hear, EF or FF. And she just kind of blushes and smiles, and he puts her down and he embraces Junior, picks him up, throws him over his shoulder, does all those manly things that fathers do with their sons, and Junior is delighted to have his father around, and still at the same time a little bit wary, a little bit shy. His dad's been gone for 3 years. He's not that old. He's kind of in that Oedipus Rex situation anyway, and so there's a little bit of negotiation to be worked out here. Dad and Mom gather up all the luggage. They load it up in the car. Dad takes his seat behind the wheel because Daddy's back in town. Looks over to Mom over there to his right, and he says, EF or FF? Mom doesn't say anything. She just smiles again. So they drive home. In the drive home, Dad's listening to the radio, the window's down. Junior's just taking it all in, how different things are, how different Dad is from Mom. They pull into the garage, and Dad pushes the remote to close the garage door. He looks over at Mom. He says, EF or FF? Mom doesn't say anything. She just smiles. But Junior says, what is he bothering you about? And Mom turns around, looks at her son. She said, your father just wants to know if I want to eat first. And that's the joke. So obviously you have to work out what FF means. And if you don't know, like the little kid in the back seat, you don't know. But it's a wonderful joke for understanding male leadership. Dad's clearly the man in charge. For understanding the hierarchy of relationships within a family, the marriage is much more important than the relationship of the parents to the child. The marriage is the primary relationship in that family, and the relationship between the parents and children is necessarily secondary in sequence, obviously, but secondary in importance overall because the marriage will live on after the children move away. It illustrates the male leadership role in establishing the sexual agenda. It also shows how male leadership is affected by means of consideration. That is very chivalrous of Dad to ask Mom if she would prefer to eat first. Obviously, he's not that interested in eating first, possibly making the nematode argument, but no, it takes the nematode argument away because the simple fact of the question EF or FF, establishes that human beings are capable of informed discretion and can govern their behavior accordingly. And it is absurd that anyone should have to say this. This is completely obvious. And it is absurd that we continue to pay bubble-brained Poindexters serious money, 6-figure incomes with 7-figure retirement plans. It is absurd that we continue to pay these morons to waste our money telling us absolutely nothing that's true and everything that's false. And the false things they tell us are ultimately destructive, not just of our own minds by imbibing lies, by imbibing deceits, but destructive of human civilization as such, because they are at war with your sovereignty, with your agency, with your liberty, with your confidence, with your efficacy. They are they are at war with yourself, at war with your love of, appreciation for, and resolve to exploit to maximum benefit your own internal, exclusive internal motivation. Science is at war with the human mind. This is one of the main arguments in Man Alive. Science is at war with the human mind. And the dancing bear fallacy is how that war is fought. So, hopefully you feel yourself twice benefited today. First, you didn't have to live through the 30-minute homily, and second, you got a real nice dirty joke to throw around in your marriage. In the meantime, mind what goes into your mind. And come back and see us next week. Bless you. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.